Morning. It's 10 a.m.
Morning.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Is everyone excited to hear this great presentation we're about to hear today? Before we get started, I do have to read something. By attending this online district event, you agreed to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International as well as the unassociated online hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages, may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in the future as it sees fit. Your online attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in conjunction with the use of distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. If you want to know where this is, I picked this up from our speech contest rule book on page 22. It was specific to online speech contests, but it's also for any district, area, division events online. And now I'd like to introduce someone who has been a Toastmaster for 18 years. I just love this lady. She's so energetic. She is just fun to be with. So I'm hoping she'll be at the conference this year because then we'll really have a good time. Well, I guess she has to be because she's our district chief judge. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Devin Downey.
Oh, why, thank you, Carol. What a warm welcome. Good morning, District 21, or afternoon or evening to any other Toastmaster that's joining us today. I'm the District 21 Chief Judge, and so anything contest related, I love and support, and I'm happy to be part of. If you have any questions about contests, please refer to the rule book, and I'll include that in the chat so you can reference it. And if you could place yourself on mute while our speaker is speaking today, that would be great. So our presenter today knows a thing or two about winning. He won his first international speech contest in the year 2000. That's so long ago that some of you might not have been alive. It was his first attempt, and he had completed the minimum number of speeches to qualify. In 2014, he achieved the unique accomplishment in District 21, winning the International Speech Contest, the Speech Evaluation, and Table Topics Contest in the same year. He went on to represent us in Malaysia at the World Championship of Public Speaking, placing first in his semifinal and then reaching the finals. His District 96 honors include Toastmaster of the Year and the Dr. Ralph Yorsch Legacy Award. Please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Sharookh Daroowala.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Devin. I couldn't have scripted this better myself. Maybe I should steal it for next time. Welcome, everyone, Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, our counters in the room, grammarians, and those of you who are here just to test my skills and knowledge on the subject. I can assure you that there will be something in it for every one of you. How to stand out and be outstanding. I intentionally picked this title, so let's talk about it. Is there a difference between standing out and being outstanding? And just because you don't confuse me for speaker man, let's make this a fun fireside chat, dialogue, interaction, questions, and help me out because I know that there are people in this room who are far more qualified than I am. So all of you can benefit from the best answers that you can possibly get. So question, audience participation. Is there a difference between standing out and being outstanding. And although most of this pertains to the contest setting, of course, at a much deeper level, it's about effective communication and delivering outstanding prepared speeches. So although some of it may be related to contests, not all of it is, and it will apply to whatever you're planning to do in terms of prepared speeches in future. Back to the question and back to the answer. Standing out and being outstanding. What's the difference, if any? Remember, this is, in a way, table topics as well. Yes, Naila, go ahead.
Standing out means people will notice you. Outstanding is being excellent.
Excellent. Anyone else?
Sharookh, there's one in the chat. It said you can stand out for not good reasons. Outstanding implies excellence. That's by Catherine.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Why can't I see?
There's one in the chat as well. You can stand out for not good reasons. Outstanding implies excellence by Catherine.
All right. Okay, there it is. Excellent. Good answer. Anyone else? So standing out can also be negative. You can get up on stage or in a contest and talk nonsense. Or you can say something that is unusual, maybe even bizarre. In my finals in the World Championship of Public Speaking, one of the contestants, believe it or not, delivered a 7-minute apology for why he wasn't prepared to be in the final. Right? I see that Devin and Zach are nodding. They were there, right?
Yep.
And so all of us thought that maybe he's just setting us up and it's a decoy for what is to come, but it wasn't. And he just stood there and said, I'm so sorry. I never believed that I could win the semifinal and be in the final. And because you have to do a different speech in the final within a day and a half, he didn't have another speech. So he just stood up and he apologized. So in a way, he stood out as well. And the slight tragedy in that particular situation was that the home favorite in Kuala Lumpur that day had come second in his semifinal. And so he would have been obviously coming with a lot of support, and had this contestant dropped out, the home favorite would have been on stage. So that's standing out. But it is also important because somebody has a serious problem in a contest. And I know it's further down in my workbook. By the way, the workbook is posted in the chat. Please open it up, take notes. The reason it's called a workbook is that I don't believe in free lunches. And although the headlines are there, we will be working. And if you take notes and if you read the notes after the fact, trust me, it will help you. So the next question is, why is winning in a contest not part of my title? Why does it not say how to win at the International Speech Contest? Anyone? I see we have former champions here in the room. All right.
Someone in the chat said too many variables you cannot control. That's by Matthew.
That's true.
Catherine said it's subjective.
Perfect. Right? And so all you can do then, because you have no idea who the competition is and how they are going to perform and deliver on that day, all you can do is to be your best. Presumably you agree that you cannot do better than your best. So every time you're on that contest stage, your goal is to be the best you can be, and winning is secondary because you did the best you possibly could under the circumstances. So let's start with the workbook. It looks like this. And for the most part, I will follow along the chronology in this workbook. And half in jest, I put my summary down like this, because the most important thing is planning to be outstanding and stand out at the contest. I cannot tell you how many times contestants have reached the third or fourth round and then come to me saying, please help me improve my speech. Well, you're a day late and $1 short, because you've already put in a lot of time and effort. And now to start all over again is virtually impossible. So plans are nothing, planning is everything. So said Napoleon, and I just quoted him. So a big part of the success comes from planning before you script the very first word in your contest journey. One of the interesting things in contests comes up with storytelling, right? So a celebrity in our business said the essence, somebody asked him, what is public speaking? And his answer was, the essence of public speaking is to tell a story to make a point. So back again to you. What is the key word in this sentence? What is the key word in this sentence? Shivan, I can't see the chat, so please read it out for me.
Yes, there hasn't been any in chat.
Okay, when there is, please do.
Yeah.
But otherwise, please unmute and speak up. What is the key word in this sentence? The
Can
essence
I
of
say
public.
something?
Of course you can.
Make a point, but it's not just one word. That's what I get.
All right. So if you were to pick one word in that sentence, Naila, what is the most important word in that sentence?
I still think there's true. There's story and there's point. So I
Exactly.
still think make a point is the most important part, though.
Okay. Now I get you, and you are absolutely correct.
There's in the chat as well, story, make connection, story, story, story.
All right.
Yeah.
So I don't know who said that, but the correct answer is Naila's. The point. What is another name for point? Let's go, Toastmasters.
Sharookh, saying why you're saying the point, the reason.
Yes, that's true, but
The purpose.
the message, right?
Yeah.
So the message is another name for point, but the story is something that many contestants will often think of first. Oh, I'm going to take part in the contest because I have this amazing story to tell. And then what they will do is they'll wedge in the message somehow at the back end or front end, but in their thinking, it's secondary to their main issue. Devin, you're a former champion. What's your thought?
You're on mute.
You're muted. So why should you think of the message first before you think of the story?
Because that's what the audience is going to remember at the end of the day.
Exactly. Right?
Can I also say something?
Absolutely, always.
As a former chief judge, the rule book says that there should be a purpose to the story, a message or a purpose to the story.
Great ad, Carol.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and in this context, there is a difference between the message and the purpose. We will get to it. But the message is so important because it comes from your heart. It shows your enthusiasm. It's audience focus. It's the gift that you're giving to the audience, because your story is your story and it will never likely happen to your audience members. But the message is the lesson that you learn from the story, and that is the gift that keeps on giving. And now we have our friend, the late, great Steve Jobs saying, the storyteller is the most powerful person in the world. So what exactly is the Toastmasters International Speech Contest? Let's see some hands going up and answers. Anybody? What exactly is the Toastmasters International Speech Contest? What are some of the unique elements or attributes to it which may not be apparent on the surface? Yes,
It's a
Shiven.
contest that moves from club all the way to international stage.
That's certainly one of the elements. Anybody else?
And I think that there is a specific time limit, like when we deliver the speeches, we need to deliver within that time.
Of course. So
Yeah.
let's take it to a much higher level, right?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sharookh, I think for the international speech contest, then you will find out in which level you are,
All right.
where you're standing.
Correct.
There's one in the chat as well, Sharookh. It says by Elizabeth to celebrate our hard work and a question mark.
All right.
And
That's
then there's
also
another one as well in the chat saying by Forrest, sharing of messages to move people and enact change.
there you go. That's really important. Enact change. Change lives, perhaps even save lives, right? So in this particular context, my thought is that the International Speech Contest intentionally is, let's call it the MMA of public speaking, mixed martial arts. I know Shiven loves mixed martial arts, right? So everything that you learn in the Pathways program or in your weekly meetings gets shaken up, and now you are given four corners of the sandbox, and you can play whichever way you want in that sandbox. And everything that you have learned needs then to come together, but elevated to its highest form. So, for example, if you come out and do what I'm doing right now and deliver an educational speech, what are the chances you are going to prevail over somebody who's going to deliver an inspirational speech? Correct? We'll talk much more about that. Must your speech try to resolve a burning, current, solvable human challenge? Yes or no?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So
There
give me an
was
example of why that might be the case, Naila.
It doesn't have to solve a human challenge like cancer or anything like that. It's just give people some a way to see life in a different way. That's the way I see it. It can inspire you to be better or to accomplish something, but not give you the solution per se.
All right. The most important word in what you just said was inspire. Inspire you to be better, correct? So it has to be very specific because you have 5 to 7 minutes to inspire your audience to do better than what they have been doing, right? And so if you had some way out situation that is not of a universal nature, that is not a serious problem. So I was in a TED talk recently, and somebody delivered a talk about sharing your sex life with an AI meme. Correct? Now, it's maybe relevant to a TED talk, but how is it relevant to inspire almost everybody, no, everybody in that audience to be better? Correct? So that's what I mean by that. What are the three broad components of every presentation? Okay, Toastmasters, this is warm up. Let's do this rather quickly because all of you know the answers. What are the three broad components of every speech?
Opening, body, and close.
That is Oops, what happened here? That's not. Wait a second. Is my screen still being shared?
Yes, sure.
All right. So in every presentation, there are three broad components that you must be aware of. What are those? Shiven, Ashgan, what you mentioned only dealt with one of the components, which is content, right? Opening body and close of the content.
Can I
What are
add?
the other two?
Am I allowed?
Delivery
Delivery? Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
A structure?
and
Exactly.
yeah.
Structure, right? So you have to be aware before you start the scripting process that there are three components that are equally important. The content, what you say, the delivery, how you say it, and the structure is how you organize your content. And it starts with the title and goes to the very end. Who has a dilemma that you must be mindful of? That's an interesting question.
The audience.
What is their dilemma? It's a correct answer. What is their dilemma?
Pardon me?
What is the audience's dilemma that you must be mindful of?
Well, they want to understand that there is a purpose to your speech and what they're supposed to do after they've heard your speech. What is the call to action?
Correct. So we are back again to the message. It is applicable to the audience. They are connected with you. They are interested in your speech because they are trying to get better, right? It's a problem-solving exercise, if you will. So that's number one. Or I should say number two or number three. Who has a dilemma? I'll give you a big hint. So it has something to do with Devon and her team.
The judges.
Exactly. What is the judge's dilemma?
Oh, making sure that it is within all the rule book.
Yeah, we'll come to that. But a contest is almost like a beauty contest. There is an assembly line of, let's say, 10 speakers. So the judge's dilemma is who to pick,
Yeah.
right? If everybody looks and talks same, they have a much more serious challenge.
There was in
And
chat as well, Sharookh. It said
yes,
the
go ahead.
judges.
Oh, great.
Well, yeah.
So the judges have a dilemma, and you should be mindful of their dilemma. And then how do you resolve that dilemma? Right? It's right here in the title. You stand out and be outstanding.
Outstanding.
Which means be different, right? Because if 6 out of the 10 are pretty much the same thing, now they don't know, and you're kind of in a bit of a lottery system.
So there was another one as well by Page
Say
that
it.
said evaluation, the speech is independent of personal bias.
Sorry. Okay. Sure. So you have to be mindful of your audience and how they could relate to what you said. I was coaching somebody for a TED Talk just very recently, and there were other people in the room. And so in her practice session, her greeting was, "Ladies and gentlemen." Have you heard that greeting before? You have.
Yes.
But in 2025, if you just open with "Ladies and gentlemen," as it happened live in this case, the few people who were in that room went, "What? How many people have you left out?" Right? So I was on a cruise ship recently, and there was a private function, and it says it's only for LBGTQIA, right? So imagine how these people would feel if they thought you didn't connect with them. So yes. What are the two key goals that every accomplished speaker strives to achieve? Anybody? Two key goals.
Touching hearts of people.
Yes.
Engaging.
Yes. The common term for both those answers is connection, right? Connection is everything.
There's
So
a couple in chat as well, Sharookh. It said being memorable and impact.
yes, absolutely. So it all comes back to the same thing, connection. So the two key goals. Why am I not able to see my chat here? Okay, sorry, now I can see it. All right. And the second thing is always becoming mindful of how your words and actions and your delivery lands on the audience's eyes and ears. So in other words, reverse engineering and looking at your presentation from the outside in, because it's not what you want to say, it's what they are hearing and seeing. So those are the two broad goals that an accomplished speaker will try to achieve. This is an easy one. How can you be 100% sure that you are never going to prevail in the international speech contest?
Don't enter.
Yeah, that's a good one that I hadn't thought of. Don't enter. You're in the wrong room. All right, let's go. There are multiple ways to fail. Starting with
Go over time.
go over time.
Or
The
under
international-
time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a couple in chat as well. It said don't prepare and go over time.
Yes.
And
So
under.
the easiest way is to be disqualified because you didn't meet the timing guidelines. What are the timing guidelines?
5 to 7 minutes.
Let's try it again.
5 to 7 minutes.
No, it's isn't it
4:30 to
4.5 to
5
7.5? Yeah.
For 7.
Yes. So you must speak for a minimum of 4.5 minutes and a maximum of 7.5 minutes. And it's astounding how many contestants at the highest levels get disqualified. In my own finals, a speaker from Beijing who placed second subsequently in two finals would have come first and be crowned the world champion of public speaking. But on both the occasions, he went overtime. And on one occasion, he went overtime, believe it or not, by two words, which were not even in his script. He just ad-libbed them towards the end, and he went overtime. Right? So easy way. And how do you ensure you don't get overtime? And why do people go overtime so often? 2 years ago, out of 8 contestants in the final, 3 went overtime,
I can tell
including
you.
the runaway winner.
It's audience laughter, and I actually covered this in my topic, and anyone can see it, and we'll share those resources later with everyone for contests. When the audience laughs, it eats into your time. So you can't just say, "Hey, audience, stop laughing at my hilarious joke." You have to then either start speaking right away, or you have to cut something out of your speech live on stage, or you prepare in advance by making sure that your speech is within the time and that you don't have maybe seconds. So you prepare a speech that's 6 minutes long so that you have that buffer time in order to allow for laughter, for audience response.
Exactly. What are the other reasons you might go over time in contrast with your practice and preparation sessions?
Get lost in your speech, not having enough strong structure.
Yes. Yes. So you get nervous, you have stage fright, you are overwhelmed by the number of people in the audience or the way they are responding. When I was in the finals, my first 2 or 3 sentences I thought were quite funny, but it seemed like nobody was laughing. I could just hear 1 or 2 people in the front row at the Petronas Towers in Kuala Lumpur that were laughing. And I was saying, oh my God, it goes downhill from here. And so I'm almost in shock. And then there is a huge wave of laughs coming up because the room was so big. There were 3,000 people, 3 balconies, and it just took a lot of time for that laughter to permeate through and to the entire room. So the whole point of making your audience laugh or to pause or to think when you ask them a question is that it takes time. And the more people there are, the more time it takes. So Devin is absolutely correct. If in your practice you are over 6 minutes, you are probably going to be over in a much larger setting. Let's go quickly to other reasons. Guaranteed failure.
You don't have a message.
Yes, but I'm talking about objective reasons why you would fail.
There's
Guaranteed
one
to fail.
in the chat that said be unoriginal by Matthew.
Mm,
There's another
no.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
Sharookh, would one of the reasons be callbacks?
Actually, it is referencing other speakers.
Mhm.
So callbacks can mean two things. So if you have, let's say in your opening or in your title, you have mentioned something, a person, a phrase, and you bring it back towards the end, that is a callback. But the rule book says that you are disqualified if you reference another speaker by name or by what they have said. So that's one way of getting disqualified. What's the other way of getting disqualified? Come on, we've got chief judges in the room. Yes, somebody in chat says
Originality.
exactly, right? So only 25% can be somebody else's material, but you must attribute credit to them.
Yeah.
And 75% has to be your own.
Mhm.
And one more important thing has happened at very high levels.
You didn't pay, or your club didn't pay.
Oh, yeah, good standing.
Yes, so you have to be eligible in the first place to compete. And most people will think that it's just that you have to be eligible, your club has to be eligible, dues have to be paid, etc. But there are other reasons why you could be ineligible. And one of them that Devin and I have recently talked about is individuals who are taking prominent positions at events where the contest is going to take place. So, for example, a judge obviously cannot compete, but also somebody who's a chair of a committee or a subcommittee, somebody who's presenting an ed session or planning to, somebody who's declared to be a district officer. All of those reasons can disqualify you. We had an incident actually in District 21 about 10, 12 years ago when somebody became a district champion and was beside herself because she was disqualified after she was crowned. And that is because she had paid her dues to the club, but the club had not paid it onwards to TI. Thank you, Devin, for posting the rules there. Right? So there are many reasons why you get DQ'd just because you're not eligible. This is another key component, the spoken word medium. And what do I mean by understanding the spoken word medium? So let's start with a question. When you write something, let's say in this context, your script, usually when you write something, it is intended to be, say it out loud, intended to be?
Personal.
Yes.
Read.
But the medium, read, correct? Well, in this particular case, when you write a script, it is not intended to be read. It is intended to be
Heard.
Spoken.
heard, or better still, seen, right? The brain, and everything is about the audience's brain. The brain loves watching pictures. That is why TV put radio out of business, correct? So you have to understand that there is a big shift in the medium because your script is not intended to be read. So you have to be constantly aware as you are scripting that somebody is going to hear this And that is the reason also why you have to dumb down what you are saying and scripting. And what do I mean by dumbing it down? In Microsoft Word, there is a feature called Readability Index. Readability Index. And what it basically does is that it takes your content, your script apart, and it indicates to you what level of proficiency your script is. And the gurus in this business will tell you that you must assume that everybody in your audience has only gone till grade 6, right? Grade 6, that's it. Because if you use jargon, if you use heavy terms, long sentences, big words, right? The audience is lost and they are so focused on trying to figure out or asking the person, what did he just mean by that? And now they're not listening to the next word that you're about to say. Equally important is your pace of speaking, correct? Who is in the power position when you are speaking from the platform?
You are.
You are. Exactly, right? But who is in the power position when you write something, let's say an email or even a script that somebody is reading?
The reader.
The reader. Why? Because they can slow it down. They can look up your jargon. They can think about it. They can pause, right? But you can't do that when you are speaking in a monologue setting. So you have to be consciously aware of this shift in the medium. Otherwise, you're lost. 4 questions your audience must never ask themselves. What are those 4 questions? You've been through all of those. I'm just highlighting them. What are the 4 questions your audience must never ask you, although in this setting it has to be internal? What are the 4 questions?
What was the purpose of your speech?
All right, excellent.
There's a couple in the chat, Sharookh, that said, what the heck is this about? And what's the point of this?
Exactly. Okay, once again, I lost the chat. Okay. Let me just get back to the room. Okay, anything else?
There's a couple more in the chat that said, how questions, what did the speaker just say? Why should I listen to you? What am I supposed to do now?
Exactly. So these are all great, correct answers. So I'll just break this down. The first question is, so what? Right? I moved to Vancouver from Shanghai. And if there's no context to it, the audience is asking, so what? I moved from Rio, right? So first question is, so what? The second question is, why are you telling me this? Why are you telling me this? I have 2 sisters. One is older, one is younger. No context. The question is, so? I have siblings as well. Why are you telling me this? Third, what do you want me to do about it? Right? So you've said a bunch of things, but what do you want me to do about it? Right? Because it's not about you, it's about me, the audience member. And then the last but not least is, all right, all this is about you. What's in it for me? Right? So these are the 4 questions you must, in your scripting process, be extremely mindful of. This goes back to what is your audience thinking as you are speaking, right? Because if they are thinking, all right, that brings me to another important question. During your presentation, and I'm talking in the context setting, must you allow your audience to think? Must you allow your audience to think?
No, because if they think they're not listening to you.
Exactly, right? So do not allow them to think, right? You've taken great trouble to have an outstanding title, a great opening, that has reeled them in. And now when you say, can you think of one incident in your life when you did something stupid? And what did you just do?
Making them think.
Exactly. But what you did was you took the trouble to get them onto your bus, and now you just open the door and say leave. Because once they're thinking they are somewhere, whatever happened to them in their childhood, they've already lost you. And this applies, by the way, to judges in particular, because it's the speaker's fault that they took them down a path, and now one paragraph was completely missed, and the judges are in a quandary because they think they've lost the nub of the presentation. So never let the audience think. They should think, they should act, they should do things after you have finished. And the correct answer, as Shivan says, is it Shivan? Did I say that right? Shivan? All right, I'll take that as a yes. Is you should make them feel what you're saying, right? Touching their hearts, connecting with their head. Let's talk about the planning process. This is the 4 hours to sharpen your axe and 6 hours in total to chop the tree. Read. What should you read in preparation of your contest endeavor? What should you read?
The rule book.
Thank you.
And it's in the chat.
Thank you. The rule book. It's amazing how many contestants have never read the rule book.
Terrible.
Toastmasters has not just survived, but succeeded for 100 years, right? Because they have relatively few rules. But you cannot breach those rules, right? Within those 4 corners, you can do almost anything you want, but don't color outside those numbers, otherwise you are dead. So number 1 is read the rules. In particular, what should you read? Because it's in the rule book, but there is something in particular that you should be extremely aware of.
The judge's form?
Exactly. The judges have guidelines, right? They are in your workbook. We'll get to them in a meaningful way a little bit later. But you must know what the judges are going to be reading. And although it is true that ultimately they can make a subjective opinion and make up their own minds and their own rules, it is crucial that you're completely familiar with the judge's guide and ballot. What is the third thing they should be reading? Again, pertaining to the rule book.
The ballot.
That's the judge's guide and ballot. You are required to sign a form that is called the speaker's certificate of originality and eligibility, correct? And the rules are stated there. You have certified that you are eligible to compete, that this is substantially your own work, and on and on and on. You must read that. What else should you read? Everything else on the topic. You're trying to become the champion of the world, right? So you can't just read the rule book. You have to read other speeches. You have to read everything that is written on the subject of public speaking as much as you can. You can't be a good writer without being a good reader. You can't be a good reader without being a good writer, and so on. That's why we have these multiplicity of rules in our meetings. What should you watch as part of your preparation?
Sharookh Daroowala.
All right. I'm not going to say that's a completely wrong answer, but it's partially true. All right. Who else? What else?
Past world champions.
Thank you. Past contests. Who else? Who's the elephant in the room? Not me, but who's the elephant in the room?
Yourself.
Exactly, right? So watch the video of yourself in 99.99% of the time, you will be horrified when you watch your own video, right? It's like looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, who's that, right? But you learn a lot because that's what your audience is watching, correct? So there is a lot of watching to be done. In 2000, when I won my contest for the first time, I watched Craig Valentine's 1999 speech so many times that in workshops that I have done, I have paraphrased his speech and I have got a standing ovation. I have got a standing ovation by paraphrasing his speech. How crazy is that? Right? Because you learn from a master and you pick up things that you otherwise would not. Okay, we talked about purposes earlier, Carol. Let's move along. What are the 4 speech purposes and how is this central to the planning process? Purposes. Let's go.
Connect.
Purpose. Purpose of a speech.
To
What is the
inspire.
purpose of?
Purposes.
Yes. All right. So Shiven says inspire. Nailed it. What are the other 3?
There's a couple in the chat that said persuasion, inspire, change, and action.
Awesome. Sorry, I should pay more attention to the chat. Yes, persuasion. Absolutely correct. Persuasion. Number 3. Something that I'm doing right now.
Uplifting, educational.
Exactly. Educate. And number 4.
There's a couple more in the
Entertain.
chat. Entertain.
Exactly. Correct answer, Justin. Right? So leaving aside the entertainment component, if there was the Olympics, education and information will always get you the bronze medal. Next up will be persuasion, and third will be inspiration. Why? Because education and information can be obtained by way of videos. A lot of people who are not here may want to watch the video of this workshop, for example, later on, right? So it's not life-changing. 3 steps to plant a tree in your backyard. Okay, well, I can Google it, and now your friend ChatGPT can maybe explain it to you with a video and half do it for you, right? So information and education will always get you the bronze medal. Persuasion is salesy, right? Features and benefits are central to persuasion. In a persuasive speech, you are going from your head to the audience's head using the thread of logic and other modules that will hopefully get them to buy whatever you're trying to sell or buy into your message. But nobody, and don't tell me you disagree with me, nobody will dispute the fact that in a contest between head and heart, who always wins?
Heart.
Heart, correct? So if you can find a way to touch the audience's heart, in other words, inspire them, the competition is over, right? And so it surprises me how many times, especially in the earlier rounds, contestants will come up and talk about the evils of social media addiction or how AI makes people lazy or something like that, and explains how not to be addicted to AI. Well, that's education. Maybe if you do a slightly better job, it's persuasion. And many times, an attempt at inspiring that is unsuccessful or fails will end up becoming a persuasive speech. So you have to be aware of how to touch your audience's heart. And every single time, Devon is a great example. She talked about depression, her own depression, right? How can you deny that it doesn't touch your heart? Right? My wife was sitting next to me and she said something like, it's all over for everyone else. And it was, right? So the other planning confusion often comes with understanding the difference between the topic or the problem, right? So in this particular case, since I just mentioned it, the topic could be social media addiction. or depression, right? Depression is a serious problem for a lot of people. But what is your message, right? So your message is often slightly different, and even going deeper, it has to be coined and phrased in an alliterative, rhythmic, memorable, repeatable way so that it sticks in your audience's head. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And finally, usually all messages are based around what your parents have taught you, what you are teaching your children, which is old truths, morals, and values, right? So let's take an example. One of the world champions, his carry-out message was, trust is a must. Trust is a must. So it's rhythmic, it's alliterative, it's memorable, it's repeatable, but it has a core value at its center, which is trust, right? So every inspirational speech will have a core value. So it is perspective, it is perseverance, it is hard work, it is effort, and on the list goes, right? So it must be clear either overtly or covertly to your audience what is the ultimate core value. So if I miss Devin's speech and I come in late and I say to Carol, what was Devin's speech about? She might tell me it was about trust, or it was about hard work or effort, right? We'll see a master at work and you'll see what I mean, right? We talked about this story or message. You must always think of the message first. Why? Because it's bothering you, it's burning you up, you're dying to talk about it, and then you find a story that fits into your message, not the other way around where you have a story. And you heard me say this before, a story is the gift wrap. The message is the gift, right? So if I just come to your house and I give you a bottle of wine like that, it's completely different from me nicely wrapping it and then making sure that it's your favorite wine. And you say, oh, Sharookh, you shouldn't have, but you remember that Cabernet is my favorite red wine, right? So it builds that connection. So the story is everywhere. How many stories do you hear, tell, or watch on a daily basis?
A lot.
Okay, a lot is not a number.
3,000.
3,000. All right. Anyone else? Let's go. Okay, let me simplify this for you. It is proven that an adult human brain has 60,000 thoughts every day. 60,000. How many of those are stories?
All of them.
All of them. Correct? So stories are omnipresent in our lives. They are built into our DNA. I have a 9-month-old granddaughter. Guess what she loves? Me reading a story to her. Right?
There's a couple in the chat as well, sir, Sharookh, that said, depending on how many TikToks you watch,
every TikTok is a story. Right. Deciding that, so what is the mother of all questions that you must ask yourself and be extremely clear about it as you're planning a speech? What do you want your audience to think, feel, or do after hearing you? Emphasis on after. Because if you cannot answer that question, you're not ready to deliver an inspirational speech. What do you want your audience to think, feel, or do after hearing you? And you should say it in such a simple way that every single person is going to nod with you in agreement. So a good example of that might be, honesty is the best policy. Who's going to disagree with that? Trust is a must. Who's going to disagree with that, right? So what I want my audience to think, feel, or do after hearing me is to believe in themselves. And I can see there are people already nodding as I'm saying it. That's the art of building yeses. So from the get-go, maybe even in the title, you say things that the audience will connect with you, they will agree with you, they will nod. And when you train them to be agreeing with you, it's called building yeses, they will agree with you at the end when you give them that gift and explain your call to action. Okay. The treatment and genre. So quite often in the planning process, there's no clarity on whether you want your speech to be serious, solemn. There was one last year in the finals that was religion-based, right? So you have to decide. And David and I like to play with our audience. And so we'll say, we want our speeches to be lighthearted, right? Well, put that on your wall in lights, because as you are scripting, it will remind you, hey, what happened? You said it was going to be lighthearted. There was nothing funny about your presentation. Even if it's serious, it can be funny, right? Prepare and practice, obviously, write and rewrite. Hemingway says, I didn't say this, Hemingway says the first draft of anything you write is shit, right? The best speeches are not written, they are rewritten. The word count, of course, deals with timing, right? You must know your pace of speaking. On average, the range is between 75 words and 150 words. So if you have 7.5 minutes, you better know your pace for every minute and make sure you don't exceed it. Get feedback. Toastmasters' best friend is
Feedback.
feedback.
Evaluation.
Yes, same thing, feedback, right? Keep improving at every level. There are so many times contestants will say, well, I was a runaway winner at my area contest. And then they cannot understand why they didn't even place in the next level. Well, the level is getting better, higher, right? So should you. When I won my district title in 2014, our district was one of the largest in the world. There were 400 clubs. And it was the first time in our history that you actually had to come first 5 rounds to become the district champion. So I placed first 5 times, but my district speech was completely unrecognizable from my semifinal speech, because I was aware that I was going to be up against the runners-up in the previous World Championship, the champion of Europe, the champion of Africa, the champion of China, and so on, right? So you have to keep improving at every level. All right, now let's have some fun and me stop talking. Carol, if you can please play this video and I will stop the sharing. So watch this video very carefully. I love this World Championship winning speech for multiple reasons, but I will be very interested to find out what your reasons are. Even if you've seen this before, pay great attention because it is so simple and so instructive, right? Let's go.
Speaker number 9, Presian Vasilev. Good luck. I'll mention your name and
no problem.
Presian Vasilev changed by a tire.
Carol, you're showing the video, right?
By a tire, Presian Vasilev.
Yes.
The steering wheel jerked. I tried to keep the car in control. That night in Chicago, a flat tire changed me. I pulled in the nearby gas station, and under bright lights, parked on a slope leading to a busy street. Mr. Contest Chair, Toastmasters and guests, have you ever done something stupid? I broke the first rule of changing a tire. Choose a level spot. Friends, in Chicago, there aren't that many slopes. But that night, I found one. Why do flat tires always happen when you're dressed up. Opened the trunk, excavated the jack, unused for centuries. Rusty piece of metal. I
Is there
thought
an issue, Carol?
I can handle it. Loosened the nuts.
You're muted.
Placed the jack down.
What's that?
You're showing the video, right?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and the sound.
Half hour.
Can anybody see it? I can't.
Yes.
We can see it, Sharookh. We can see
Oh,
it.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't.
The only support in front, the rusty jack. Back at the trunk, I pulled out the spare tire, shook the entire car. I saw the car going downhill. Bang! The jack collapsed. The car collapsed. My lungs collapsed. An inner voice said, "You are an idiot." Then another voice, "Reach out. Reach out. I can handle it." Lifted the car almost enough. Bang! If at first you don't succeed, almost enough. Bang! The car had moved to a steeper slope. I grasped the gravity of the situation. The people at the bus stop across the street were looking at me. I was giving a demonstration how not to change a tire. Then that voice again, "Reach out. Reach out. Should I involve them? Of course not. That's not my car." In the gas station, behind the counter, stood a big man with a big smile. Badge read, "Jesse." He said, "My friend, was your car doing push-ups?" I told him I did something stupid. I asked him for help. We got out. Jesse looked at the car and said, "You were right. That's stupid. Let me show you." You never know who you're going to find when you reach out. I found a DJM, Distinguished Jackmaster. Jesse helped me lift the car up. Rusty, foolish hand shook Rusty, helping hand. That night, I stopped to change a tire. Instead, the tire changed me. I used to believe that to reach out was weakness. I discovered my weakness was refusing to reach out. When you reach out, you attract ideas that lift you up. When you reach out, you attract solutions that lift you up. When you reach out, you attract friendships that lift you up. Maybe you want a better voice. Reach out to a singer. Maybe you want better writing. Reach out to a writer. Maybe you want better tire changing skills. Reach out to me. I'll give you Jesse's number. Is there something collapsed in your life? Your knowledge may be limited. Your skills may be rusty, but no doubt you'll be changed when you reach out. Mr. Chairman.
So that, my friends, is a world championship winning speech. Would you agree? All right. So let's go through his script and see how many gems there are in this, and we'll try and do this together. All right, so let's start with the title, right? You heard experts tell you that in the first 7 seconds, the audience has already decided whether they like you or not. And that 7 seconds actually can start even before you say the single word, because of the way you come up on stage, whether you're nervous, smiling, happy, confident, etc., right? And then, of course, the title. So, changed by a tire. When you hear this, and every, I can't remember which expert said this, but it's memorable. If you want to create a masterpiece, you must master the pieces, correct? And so the piece starts with the title, Changed by a Tire. What are the elements of a great title? It arouses curiosity. It piques your interest. It makes you wonder. It makes you want to listen to more. How can you be changed by a tire, right? And then it starts. It starts with a scene, right? So when you are delivering a speech, you are playing 2 roles, if not more. The first role is that of the narrator. So it's you, Naila Scott, on stage, and you come across as you are naturally inclined to be. But then you get into character in a story where you do it differently. You speak differently, you look differently, etc. Correct? But in most cases, when you are the narrator, you want to show what is happening because the audience loves to see pictures, right? And it starts very first sentence with the steering wheel jerked. The 4 W's of every great story are, let's go. Anyone? First W?
Where?
Where? So in this particular case, it's already right up there. Where does this happen?
Chicago.
In Chicago, right? And he's obviously giving you a hint of his message. Yes, Catherine, correct. Where, when, what, and who, right? So the scene continues. It's a gas station. There are bright lights. If we can picture it, he says you're parked on a street. Obviously, his delivery, his gestures, his explanation, all pretty straightforward, but extremely effective, right? He includes the greeting. He tells you that the street ahead is very busy. And then he asks you a question to which, as we discussed earlier, the answer can only be yes. And it generates laughter. Have you ever done something stupid? Correct? So that's great. It gets you on his bus right away. Now you are in the palm of his hands. And then he shares with you an old truth, right? A vignette. I broke the first rule of changing a tire, and surprise, laughter, choose a level spot. And again, he says, there's no flat, there are many slopes in Chicago, but I found one. More laughter. And then he asks you a rhetorical question, to which again we agree. Yeah, it's happened to us. We get a flat tire. Something messy happens when we are all dressed up, right? So this connection building that we were talking about is happening all the time. And then again, he's in narrator mode, explaining the scene, is getting the jack out, but then he's generating humor by using exaggeration. It's unused for centuries. And then, of course, his ego kicks in. I thought I can handle it, right? And nobody, no man wants to reach out for help or admit that they can't do it. What's the old expression? When a man says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. There is no need to remind him every 6 months, right? It's a story that plays in my house all the time. So again, there's humor, but his ego begins to emerge. He again talks about the scene, how this is all evolving. Remember, this is an artist. On his canvas, he's painting these scenes and bringing us closer and closer to him using things like the sound effects. He's exacerbating the issue. Half an hour, rusty jack, and then bam, the car is going downhill. So what is happening here is there is a serious risk. So although it's a funny incident, now it's getting very serious because his car is on a slope and is going down and is possibly going to crash into the oncoming traffic, right? So he's effectively used the three essential traits of widening the gap in a story. What are those three traits? One is a struggle, the second one is a conflict, and the third one is the risk. All three of them are happening. Think about every inspirational story, what you have gone through in life, etc., and you will find that the most interesting ones are where you have all these three traits. And then this gap gets expanded even more. The jack collapse, and then laughter, my lungs collapse. And then the guru appears, right? Who's the guru here? His inner voice. More laughter, you're an idiot, right? And then emerges the solution. Reach out. But a man being a man, he doesn't want to reach out. So he resists. I can handle it, right? And he tries again. Again, there's this struggle happening, right? The car collapses again and again, right? So this gap is getting wider and wider, right? And the audience is wondering what's going to happen next. This whole thing about the what is just getting more elevated. The audience, on the one hand, is happy that their happy hormones are getting kicked in and all these wonderful serotonin and oxytocin and all these chemicals that are running through. But at the same time, they are fearing as to what is going to happen. And it gets worse. A steeper slope. Now the spotlight is on him because the audience is looking at him, and more laughter, how not to change a tire, right? And again, this guru at the back is saying, hey, Presien, reach out. And then he's saying, I want to distance myself from the outcome. I've got nothing to do with it. So again, more laughter, right? And then emerges the real guru. He also uses dialogue, right? Why is dialogue so important? Why is dialogue critical in a story? So we are talking about being the narrator and the character. And the characters have characteristics. And so is the man behind the counter. He's a big man. He has got a big smile. His name is given, right? Characters have names. But he uses dialogue. What does dialogue do and why is it so critical?
It brings the story to life.
It brings, yes, it brings the story to life because a real person, a character, is actually getting involved in the action. So it drives the story forward, but it does something far more important. Anybody?
As in the comment section, I think it said entertain.
Yes, of course. It entertains.
Reveal
Dialogue
characters.
changes emotion. The other word for dialogue is emotion, right? So if your story is going to be flat all the way, the best way is to create jagged edges by bringing in dialogue. either from yourself, from your guru, or from somebody else that is in the room, right? So the dialogue is being used extensively. Even his inner voice can be the guru, and he's putting words in the minds of the people on the street, how not to change a tire, etc. Correct? Again, more laughter here. I told him I did something stupid. So finally, his ego starts getting deflated, and he reaches out and asks for help, right? When you are struggling in life, when you are down in the ditch, there are three things that you can do. One, you can stay down, and you know how that ends. The other one is that you can try and claw yourself out of that ditch on your own. And the third one, of course, is you reach out for a helping hand, right? This is a story that plays itself out over and over in our lives. And again, more dialogue. And then he says, let me show you, right? And then more humor, distinguished jackmaster, relevant to the audience because we all know what DTM means. And then a vignette, a rusty, foolish hand shakes rusty helping hand, right? And then now the story is over. He faces everything towards the audience, right? So the self-deprecating part is gone, and it's an admission of failure, but also of growth. So instead of me changing a tire, the tire changes me. My weakness, I accept. And this is a critical word in a closing. The more you use it, the more effective your call to action becomes. What is that word? When, right? When you do this, your life will get better. When you do that, everything will change. Because what that word when does is that it shows you the result of what will happen if you embrace the call to action, right? So you have to take your audience and show them a picture of what will happen when you embrace that call to action. And there is a variety which he applies here. When you reach out, you attract ideas that lift you up. So he uses the pun of the story, but obviously it has a double meaning. It attracts solutions, again, lifts you up. You get more friends. And then he gives you an example of how to reach out, who to reach out to, right? And then, of course, the laughter again, saying, reach out to me and I'll give you Jesse's number. And notice there are 13 times in this paragraph, I've counted it, there are 13 times in this paragraph that he uses the magic word. What is the magic word?
When.
You.
Oh,
Nothing, there's no I here, right? The story was about him, but it was for us. And he leaves no doubt that this speech is about us because 13 times he uses the word you. Don't count it, I've done it already, correct? And he does it 5 more times in the conclusion. Is there something collapsed in your life? Again, no thinking. The answer, of course, we all have issues. Yes. And it says you may have limitations, right? You may not be as good as the next person, but the last word is his call to action. So try and, as it is well said, the last thing you say is the first thing they will remember. So what is the last thing he's saying? You will be changed when you reach out. So the message in his story, the reach out is the last thing. It keeps ringing in your head. And because the story is such a wonderful gift wrap, he wants you to remember the mother of all questions. What do you want your audience to think, feel, or do after hearing me? Reach out when you can't solve a problem in your life on your own. So this is the magic of delivering an amazing inspirational speech. Any additional thoughts or questions before we move away from this?
Sharookh, I believe there was a lot of entertainment as well.
Yes.
In his speech.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Before, when we were talking about 3 components or 4 components, we mentioned about education, inspiration, persuasive, and we didn't even mention about entertainment.
It was mentioned by somebody else correctly. So entertainment is a big component. And so yes, it's in a class by itself, but we will talk about it when we go further down to the judges scoring sheet. But yes, humor is a big part.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Of course.
You said there are 3 traits of widening the gap in a story: struggle, conflict, and what is the third one?
Risk.
Risk. Okay.
Right? So they can't give up smoking. Perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, there is inherent risk. You know about it. You're trying, right? I know what's going to happen. And the more you extend this gap and this inner struggle, reaching out to doctors, taking pills, whatever it may be, but the risk is escalating, right? What is the old saying? People make amazing changes in their lives out of inspiration or desperation. So that's the risk component of it. So make sure that these 3 elements are there in your personal stories, and pick your personal stories that have these. So what I've done here is I've given you the 7 ingredients that if you put them in your script, you will see amazing results. And I've used an acronym. So a story is an anchor, a fulcrum around your presentation. It's the most important, the most commonly used fulcrum or anchor that we use. The other one is, especially that educators use, is an acronym. So if people remember the acronym, and then they know what M stands for and E stands for. So what I've done is I've used the acronym of message here, MESSAGE, to remember. So let's go over this rather quickly. So we know that the message is the central element of it. And obviously, everything starts and ends with the message. How you structure it, how you build into it, how you use the expression, which is the foundational phrase, that's up to you, right? Keep your eyes on the prize. What got you here won't get you there. Trust is a must. It's not impossible. It's I am possible, right? So we know what the message is, but you have to wrap it in a beautiful, memorable, repeatable way. The story, we talked about the 4 W's. Whose story should you always tell? Who should be the protagonist in every inspirational story?
Yourself.
Yourself.
You. Why?
It's a story only you can tell.
You can tell. You were there. It happened to you, not to Lincoln or to Trump or somebody else, right? And people want to know what happened to you because they can learn directly from you, right? Stories have characters, names of people we connect with. And in an inspirational story, if you put the crown on your own head and say, I had a big problem and I solved it by myself, it reeks, right? And so you plant a guru if you must. It could be your inner voice, it's your gut feeling, or it could be your grandmother, whoever it is, but somebody shines the light and shows the path. So we talked about the gap. The turning point is the audience knows what you want, the protagonist, but they don't know how you are going to get it. And so this gap, the struggle, the conflict, right, and the risk, they are on edge. They know that something is going to happen. It doesn't have to be success. You don't have to go from 0 to hero all the time and conquer Mount Everest. What you have to do is to try gallantly to succeed, even if it means you didn't reach the peak, right? That's what the audience wants, because we are all similar in many ways, right? It's okay to get silver medal. It's okay to not even place, but you have to show that you tried your best. That's real inspiration. The carry-out message we already. It's easier for the audience to get the point when they hear a story, right? A story is the most important anchor of a speech. We talked about all this. The best stories are seen, not just heard, right? Paint pictures, show, don't tell. The structure is, what's the title? How do you start? How do you end, right? There are many ways of bringing your artistic skills into it. Most of it is science-oriented, There's a great deal of science in communication and public speaking, but there is an art form. The science is basically rules and principles, but artistic license is all yours. It's all about the audience. Stupid, right? So story is for you. It's not about you. So if you want to engage with the audience, deliver your story in the present tense. One of the shortcomings of President's speech is that he talks in the past. This happened to me, right? No, this is happening to me right now. And the audience feels that they are there, flies on the wall, watching what is happening. And then this is the golden nugget, the goosebumps, right? How do you deliver goosebumps? Well, you say something ideally through dialogue which touches the audience's heart, right? Very quickly. I was 2 months ago, I was at the airport in Paris, and my handbag got picked out by the scanner. And so this police officer pulled out a peach from my bag and just looked at me and like saying, "Are you stupid or what?" And I said, "I'm so sorry. I thought I was going to eat it, but I forgot." Right? And then she gave my wife and I goosebumps when she said, in 2020, sorry. So when she did that, I said, "Please throw it away. I didn't know," right? So I apologize. And she says, "It's 2025. People are literally starving to death. And you want me to throw away food?" That just jolted me. And she gave it back to me and said, "Please don't throw it away," right? That is what touches your heart. Dialogue brings out vignettes and quotations. We saw that rhetorical questions. And then the last but not least is the entertainment. I know I'm very close to closing, Carol, but I want to quickly go over the judge's guide and ballot and highlight a couple of things. I've kind of highlighted some of the elements, right? Oops, this should be 50, not 5. So content, oops, my tab is got a bit screwed up here. Oh, okay, I don't know what happened here. So content is 50% as a guidepost to the audience, to the judges, right? Delivery is 30% and language. Notice one glaring omission here, right? Nowhere does it say anything about story, right? Nowhere. It doesn't say that in the judge's guide and ballot, and it doesn't say that in the explanation of it, right? However, we know from history, we know from common sense, we know by watching 60, 70 years of high-level contest speeches and world champions in action that there is no winning, there is no excelling, no being outstanding without a story that has a powerful message, right? So this is what I mean about the beauty of the program, that it has 4 corners. You can play whichever way you want within those 4 corners, right? So again, the highlighted versions are what we have discussed. Put your ideas together by dumbing it down so that the audience can understand them. Structure it around a purpose. Purpose in this case would be, in my view at least, the inspiration, not education or information or pure entertainment, right? Opening body and close was already mentioned. Engage the audience, which means connect with them and bring them to a conclusion, which is the message. The effectiveness part of it is the audience's reception, right? How are they taking what you are saying? How are you meeting them at their energy level? Although it is subjective, right? Was the purpose that you set out to achieve achieved or not, right? Let me just enlarge the size here.
Sharookh,
Speech value.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but
I know, I'm done.
you're using an old form. It was updated 05/2024. So if you go back to the top, speech development, keep going up to the top. Yeah, that content is different. The points in the content is different. Just to let everybody know, to make sure they get the up-to-date judges form. Sorry.
So Carol, you're always right, so I'm not going to argue with you. But what I did was I converted the current form and just highlighted it, but unfortunately, there's something seems to have been screwed up. But
okay.
I defer to you because I was mindful of using the latest forms, right? But please check them, right? uh, grammar, clear understanding of the thoughts, etc. And I've dropped the rule book as well as the judge's guide and ballot. And with that, my presentation is over. All that remains for me is to deliver 2 more speeches to you, a short one, thank you, and a longer one. Thank you very much for being so engaging and being such a wonderful audience.
Thank you, Sharookh.
Before everybody leaves, if you're wanting to save the chat, I'm not sure if everybody knows how to save the chat, but go into chat at the very upper right-hand corner. There's 3 dots, and you can just save chat. And that'll go into your documents, in your own documents.
I'm going to put my...
Devin, do you want to finish us off, or?
Absolutely. Happy to remind everyone that we are now in contest season. Welcome to contest season. It started December 1st. And for those of you that are new to contests, it starts December 1st, and likely your club contest will be in January. The next level is moving to the area, which will be in February. In March will be the division contest, just in time for the district contest, which will be in April. If you haven't registered already for the district conference, which is happening April 17th to 18th in Richmond, please join us, because that's where we get to see the cream of the crop, the top of British Columbia public speakers will come together for 2 contests, table topics and international speech. I will be there. I'd love to see you in person. So please join us. Maybe I'll dig up a link for how you can register. There is early bird pricing right now. Why pay more? And so you might as well get a ticket now. It's so much of a more awesome, immersive experience to have so many Toastmasters in one room. It really does make a huge difference when you get to meet people in person. And most of my Toastmaster friends I've met through conferences, and it's a really great experience. So if you're brand new, please join us at the conference, April 17th to 18th. I would love to see you. I think that's everything. Is there anything? Oh, Nayla's got a question.
Got her hand up.
Yeah,
Nayla?
I just have a correction. It's not table topics and international, it's tall tales.
Tall tales. My bad. Yeah. And if you saw the post earlier where I said contest resources, you can see that my friend and fellow champion, Stefano Casalter, did a session on Tall Tales. So if you're not familiar with that contest, you can watch. He has a 30-minute session on that. And I also have a recording there for how to run a contest. So all very important things, just as Sharookh has shared with us today, how to write and be ready for the international speech contest. There's other contest resources there for you. So they're free, they're current. Go look at them now. And thanks,
Yes,
Neil, for that.
and I think the district wants everyone to be consistent with the script, starting at the club level, the area level, division, and district level, correct, Devin?
Carol, you're speaking my language. If that's one thing that anyone gets from me in terms of contests, is read the script. This is not an opportunity to make it your own show. In order to make contests fair for everyone, the contest chair needs to read the script. If you have any questions, please come to me, ask me. But I'm going to say, did you read the script? Because you can't go wrong if you read the script. Contests are very formal. They're not like a meeting where you can, maybe try something out, see how it goes. No, contests are, in order for them to be fair for everyone, there is a formal process, and you can read the script and you won't go wrong. I've reviewed it myself. Carol's reviewed it. Multiple people have reviewed it to make sure that you will be saying the right thing in a contest as the contest chair to make it fair for everyone.
And the most important people at contests are the contestants.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I would like to thank Sharookh for his time and for the wonderful workshop. Remember, everyone, the workshop workshop books or documents are in the chat, so make sure you save the chat. And is there any other questions?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, I really want to thank everyone, especially Carol, Shivane, Devon, for arranging this wonderful section. And I really like to say big thanks to Sharookh. It's a 1 hour and 30-minute section, but you give the wonderful tips non-stop. You didn't take a break and you give a non-stop wonderful tip for everyone. So there's really benefits, and I really wrote it down like this. So it's really a benefit for me, and I will definitely share with everyone in our club for this. Thank you, Sharookh.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Zach.
Thank you.
And
I
Sharookh
appreciate it,
put
Zach.
his email address in the chat, so make sure you reach out.
Yes, we learn to teach and teach to learn. So this is a collaborative effort. And just one additional thought about the conference. The conference theme was picked by my friend Shivanier, Laugh, Learn, Lead. And hot off the press is the news that a former world champion is going to be the keynote speaker. I won't steal the thunder from the trio by naming a name, but this person has offered to do two workshops
Wow.
in the 1 day or 1.5 day conference. So grab those early bird discounts before they disappear, because over 100 people have already signed up.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Perfect.
background for the conference, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
There you
There
go.
we go.
Yeah, can you send me that background,
Yeah, I'll
please,
send it to you.
Stefan? Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah, I know who it is, but my lips are sealed as
I
well.
know who it is too.
Yeah,
Even I know.
so make sure you get your conference tickets.
Yep.
Mom's the
Become a
word.
link.
All
Have a
right.
great day, everyone.
All right.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
everyone.
Bye,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care.